Well, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer. Welcome to the 10 Weather Impact Show. We've got a beautiful day on our hands. In fact, today and tomorrow, great start to the week. Very dry. If you have anything you want to do outside, exercise, go to the fair, whatever it is, we've got 2 nice days lined up, and then we're going to have to face some increasing chances for rain a little bit later this week. In fact, here is the fair forecast right now. Notice we've got a lot of sunshine coming at us for tomorrow, and it is going to warm up a little bit tomorrow. Today we're at about 81 degrees, somewhere right in that neighborhood, and we're going to be in the middle 80s tomorrow, so 85 out at the fair, and it does look sunny, dry, and clear all the way through tomorrow. Here's what I'm looking at this week. So a dry start to the week, and then the rain chances will go up as the week wears on. The humidity, pretty comfortable today, but then it really starts to increase as the week wears on, and it's going to be pretty noticeable as we kind of move through the week. It's a good time now as we're in between weather systems to kind of take stock of where we're at as far as total precipitation here in the Columbus metro area. So far this year, that's where we are, 26.86 inches of total moisture. Normally we'd be pretty much right there, 26, so we're right in line with where we would expect to be for this time of the year. Satellite radar, lots of sunshine. Any cloud cover is clearing away to the south at this point, and we are in for tons of sun for the rest of today. And you can see it in the forecast. It does stay clear all the way through tonight. Temperatures will fall from the 80s into the 70s and then eventually 60s and some 50s overnight tonight in clear skies. Talking briefly about the smoke here. A lot of smoke coming out of the Pacific Northwest, even parts of the interior Rockies as well. And you can see the worst smoke here is going to be in the oranges and the red colors. And so a lot of it is flowing towards Ohio, but it's not making it in here. At times, a very light smoke concentration, but at this point, nothing to write home about. I mean, this is the forecast through Tuesday. You can see the clock rolling into Wednesday as well. Most of the smoke is staying away from the Buckeye State. There's a little bit advancing in right there towards Illinois, but I don't see anything in the next few days that worries me as far as smoke. The humidity, though, will be moving up, and you can see it increasing here in the forecast. Tomorrow it'll be in the humid category and then up into the uncomfortable category by late Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You get the idea. Once the humidity comes up, it's going to be with us all the way through the upcoming weekend. As far as the temps go, we're going to be on the warmer side of where we should be for this time of the year through Thursday. In the mid to upper 80s all the way through. And then once we add cloud cover and higher chances of rain and thunderstorms Friday, especially on Friday, the temperature starts to go down. Saturday, we're going to be at 84, and that's actually the norm for this time of the year, and back to 85 by Sunday. Our precip chances are 0 tomorrow, and then we're up to 20 and 30% Wednesday, Thursday. The highest chance of rain I've got over the next 7 days is on Friday at 60%, some rain, some thunderstorms, and then it goes down a little bit by Saturday, way down on Sunday. That's going to be the drier day of the weekend, and then Monday back up to 40%. Looking at everything here on the forecast radar and satellite, I'll let the clock roll ahead. So this is Tuesday in the morning. Tomorrow morning, we've got dry conditions, lots of sunshine tomorrow. Enjoy that. There's no threat of any thunderstorms. There's Tuesday at 5 p.m., a dry evening rush hour. Now, Wednesday in the morning, it is dry, it is clear with lots of sunshine in the forecast. By the time we get into the afternoon, we start to see some little pop-up thunderstorms here. You can see them here at the 5 o'clock hour, and they'll rumble in and out all the way through the evening hours. This is 11 o'clock. They may be moving off towards the east at that point. It doesn't look like anything big, but certainly a quick downpour with anything that might develop over you tomorrow on Wednesday. Here's the total rainfall for the entire week. All the way through late Friday, it appears as though less rain will fall up to the northwestern counties, with more rain down towards the south and eastern counties of central Ohio. Right in the middle, Columbus at about 0.7. That's a total rain for the week by the end of Friday. Low temperatures tonight will be in the mix of the 50s and the 60s, and high temperatures tomorrow well into the 80s. We'll go 85 in my forecast here for Columbus. Here's your 10 Weather Impact 7-day forecast. Notice the rain chances start to come up there a little bit on Wednesday, 20 on Thursday, 60%. That's it on Friday. That's the highest chance. Saturday and Sunday, Saturday's got a 40%, 10 on Sunday, and back to 40 on Monday. All of these high temperatures appear to be below or cooler than 90 degrees, especially by Friday. A little bit of a rain-cooled atmosphere there in the low 80s. All right, so moving on from our forecast now. Dangerous heat continues to be a problem for many around the nation and around the world for that matter. So the pattern being felt especially hard this week across the Pacific Ocean over in the South Korea area. That's where the South Korean government today has issued a heat wave warning. Conditions were expected to make it up to about 100 degrees there Fahrenheit, prompting the need for residents to take additional cooling action to stay safe there. And while our forecast is far from dangerous, it's not that hot here as in comparison. The summer weather is part of a disturbing social media trend that is putting young people at risk. Teens and young adults are intentionally burning their skin, chasing tans, driving up skin cancer rates. Monica Robbins has more of the unseen damage and something that's being called tan maxing.
The trend across TikTok and Instagram, teens racing to burn as fast as possible, all for the darkest tan. It's called tan maxing.
It breaks my heart that some people are actually tanning intentionally, or they are checking the UV index not to avoid the times of day when the UV index is greatest and the sun's rays are strongest, but they're using the index to actually seek the rays.
Doctors fear this generation could pay a steep price. Melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, ranks among the top cancers diagnosed in adults under 35. Just one severe sunburn in adolescence raises lifetime risk, and tanning beds before 35 raise melanoma risk by 75%.
It is potentially life-threatening in that it can increase the risk of cancer, also causes premature signs of aging, and so many other things.
There's also progress. For the first time in 20 years, the FDA approved a new sunscreen ingredient, bemotrizinol, also known as Parcel Shield, used in Europe for 26 years. It blocks UVA and UVB rays, doesn't break down easily, and is gentle on sensitive skin. The new option available in U.S. stores late this summer. Still, the best protection is the easiest.
Not wearing it is the biggest mistake I think you can probably make.
Experts advise a broad spectrum sunscreen, at least SPF 30, applied every 2 hours or after swimming or sweating. And for that bronze look, choose a spray tan or self tanner. I'm Monica Robbins reporting.
The other major story that we're following this afternoon are wildfires, which are raging out of control. They raged out of control this past weekend in the Pacific Northwest. So video shot earlier this morning of the Autumn Lane fire. It's part of the Spokane area fires complex. It shows the flames continuing to engulf everything that they come near. These flames are they have forced evacuations and have led to a lot of devastating damage up there in recent days. Many of those who have had to evacuate sent running for their lives. This video shows a couple escaping the Miter rock fire by boat. The couple camping in eastern Washington told CNN they'd actually fled spotting massive plumes of smoke, and they escaped just before a rapidly spreading Miter rock fire reached the area there. Thousands of residents near Spokane have been forced to evacuate from wildfires sparked on Saturday. Well, this afternoon, a state of emergency is in effect in Washington state, where 3 massive wildfires are raging near Spokane. The flames came in on fast and furious there, and for hundreds, it is too late. Their homes have already been destroyed. Chris Van Clevens is in Spokane with that report.
Dangerous wildfires are tearing through neighborhoods around Spokane, Washington, leaving burnt-out homes and cars, some still on fire. For one resident, the memories of her father are left in the ruins as she struggles to tell her mother.
All of our memories are gone. My dad just died, and all of his stuff was still in there too. She's in my car right now with my grandson. And how do I tell her?
Tens of thousands are under evacuation orders as 3 large wildfires scorch more than 7,000 acres.
The wind was so fast, it just blew through so quickly.
Joe Van Cara's family rushed to dig a fire line to protect his home during the height of the blaze. So far, at least 9 of his neighbors have lost theirs.
Everything around here is burnt until you get to this 3-foot fire break they dug. It bought time and it saved the houses.
One of Van Cara's best friends lived next door. Now, that home is nothing but ashes.
It just saddens me greatly. They were devastated today.
Strong winds gusting over 30 miles per hour, dry brush and low humidity are fueling growing wildfires across multiple states. In southern Utah, the Widemouth 2 wildfire tripled in size in less than a day, burning more than 36,000 acres. On Sunday, the U.S. Forest Service described the growth as catastrophic and said it was too dangerous to put firefighters on the front lines of the expanding inferno. The fires in Spokane were driven by heavy winds. They raced through neighborhoods, leaving people very little time to grab what they could and get out with their lives. Those winds have died down. Firefighters are hoping that means it's an opportunity now to gain ground on those fires. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Spokane, Washington.
As you just saw, just a staggering amount of homes have been destroyed by these wildfires in just the last few days. This video shows the remains of a home in the aftermath of the Fairview wildfire that started burning in Spokane, Washington on Saturday. The fires expanded over 3,000 acres and destroyed more than 600 structures. The fire has been called the worst natural disaster the region has faced by Spokane's Mayor Lisa Brown. Air quality warnings have been issued by the state throughout those affected areas, and of course we've been tracking that smoke because it's crossing the entire United States. So this afternoon, some people in the northwest part of Spokane have been allowed to walk down to see the damage to their homes today. Caitlin Galloway from our sister station at KREM2 was in the area near Dwight Merkel Sports Complex talking to those who were impacted.
There was a lot of emotion as people got a first look at their homes after the fire burned through neighborhoods. Jeff Williams and his family were overwhelmed with emotion to see their house survived.
We were having a pool party with my sister and all her kids over from the west side, and did not expect it to come that fast. Evacuated when we left. It was at the end of our street, and I was sure that that was the last we'd see of our house.
Williams' house brought tears of joy. What others saw brought tears of sorrow instead.
All of our memories are gone. My dad just died, and all of his stuff was still in there too, and she didn't get a chance to take anything out. So she's in my car right now with my grandson. And how do I tell her? How do I tell her?
While there's likely a long road of repair and rebuilding ahead for many, the memories lost are not as easily replaced.
It's kind of emotional because we know families down the way. Our kids ran around with them and their houses are gone. So I don't know what else to say, but it's sad. Sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, devastating fires are not just impacting the U.S. This afternoon, but they are continuing to impact Europe as well. This video was taken as water-dropping planes and helicopters battled the wildfire in mountainous terrain there, Abruzzo region of central Italy on Monday, as firefighters and emergency crews worked to battle those flames. Aircraft flew nonstop while hundreds of civil protection workers and firefighters tackled the fires across the country. Abruzzo is among several Italian regions hit by wildfires. The fires come as Italy faced its fourth heat wave of the summer, with particularly dry and a hot season raising the risk of wildfires across the country and across southern Europe. Italy is one of several countries battling blazes as near record-breaking heat and a dry summer tightened its grip on Europe. Well, that dry and hot weather continued further north, where half of England was officially in a drought after exceptionally low rainfall and prolonged high temperatures depleted reservoirs and rivers, the Environment Agency said, with drone footage captured parched grasslands around Stonehenge and across London as rapidly developing just a flash drought spread across the country there. Just 7% of the long-term July average rainfall had actually been seen and fallen so far. They're dropping to 1% in parts of southern England, so it's just bone dry. The agency said about 78% of England's rivers ran below their normal levels, and reservoir storage had dropped to 75.3% of capacity, and 7 water companies had imposed actual water restrictions covering roughly 23 million acres, that is, 23 million customers, affecting that many customers. It was England's third drought in about 5 years, following in the years of 2022 in 2025. With the latest on those European wildfires and the hot, dry weather there, here's CBS's News' Ramy Inocincino.
A top fire commander told us that this is war, to make sure that the devastation all around us that stretches for miles and miles does not happen again. But this is far from over. Even though France's biggest wildfire since 1949 is contained, it's hardly out. And across these charred, dying pine trees, countless smaller fires are almost hidden, burning in the soil. These are still fires.
Yes, and maybe this afternoon it could just grow up and become a fire with flame.
Fire Commandant Thomas Mimiog invited us into these blackened forests about 30 miles west of Bordeaux. And I want to show you one thing that I think a lot of people don't actually realize. While we're not seeing the blazes, the red fires actually climbing the trees, the fires are still around us. Come over here. Take a look at this, because what we're seeing here, you can see that a little closer. You can see that there are white plumes of smoke here. This is fire still burning underground. And these zombie fires stretch for miles and miles. Since July 22, fires scorched an area 4 times the size of Paris. So firefighters have to keep coming back over and over to find and snuff these plumes out, along with the blazes still burning. Just minutes away, this popular beach campsite on the Atlantic Ocean was spared. Families had just 1 hour to evacuate. It was stopped because firefighters made this break. You also see that it did manage to jump once. Here, you can see the crispiness of the charred trunk of this pine tree now. But look at one more thing here. I'm going to count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're in this family's campsite. How do you feel about what's going on right now?
For the next week, for the next months, we are frightened.
A fire official also told us that it could be at least 2 months until this fire is totally extinguished.
All right, well, finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. First up, check out this view from the wildfires out west. Military crews based at Peterson Air Force Base, which is in Chicago and in Colorado, are actually helping to fight against the wildfires in parts of the west out there. So this video taken was from high above rural Oregon, follows the flight of a Air Force C-130 heading back towards those skies that are blackened by wildfire smoke. So the view from inside the cockpit shows what the pilot sees as they prepare to dump flame retardant on one of Oregon's wildfires. Since early July, the team, along with 2 C-130 Hercules aircraft, have been temporarily flying out of Klamath Falls, helping in Oregon's firefighting efforts. Each plane has 6 crew members, including 2 pilots. Now, they have made up about 75 different drops thus far on different fires burning all over the state there. It takes the C-130s about 15 minutes to reload the different flame retardants that they have before they are up in the skies again, making the multiple drops a day wherever they're needed. So it's just such an amazing sight. And you've got all these C-130s helping from around the west, like we just talked about, coming out of Colorado, flying up to Oregon. And that's really what it takes out there. There's just so many fires burning after just an abnormally dry, terrible winter across a lot of the West. All right, so and finally today, some better news on the to finish this out. Dozens of canines and their human handlers hit the waves to show off their shredding skills as the World Dog Surfing Championship. The different crowds, you can see the crowds lining the beach there, cheering on the 4-legged surfers. The competition was fierce, though, with judges grading canine contestants on the distance of their ride. They also threw in bonus points for different style. Proceeds from the annual event are donated to various nonprofits supporting dogs, surfing, and environmental needs. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. I'll be in this evening to talk about the week, talk about the rain chances for the end of the week and what to expect for the fair, and of course, what's upcoming for this next weekend. And I'll be here through this evening. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.